Transport is the movement of people and goods from one place to another. Transport is classified according to the mode it takes, that is, water, land, and air. It is also categorized into traditional and modern forms. In this lesson, we are going to learn about traditional forms of transport. Traditional forms of transport can be divided into land transport and water transport. Land transport refers to transport that takes place on land. In the olden days, it included human porterage and animal transport. Human porterage was the earliest form of land transport. It involved carrying of goods by people on their backs, head, shoulders, and hands. Animal transport involves the use of animals to carry people and goods. The animals used were referred to as pack animals. There were various pack animals that were used as means of transport. They include donkeys, oxen, horses, dogs, camels, mules, elephants, water buffalo, reindeer, llama, and alpaca. Another form of transport that was used in the olden days was water transport. The earliest forms of water transport included tree trunks, rafts, canoes, boats, and sailing ship. Tree trunk was a log that floated on water and a person could cling on it as it moved downstream. On the other hand, a raft was a simple floating structure made up of several logs tied together. It could be propelled upstream by use of long poles. Canoes and sailing ships were advanced early forms of water transport. A canoe was a big log hollowed out on one side to accommodate passengers and goods. It was propelled using oars or paddles. Sailing ships were advanced boats that could be propelled by wind using a sail. The invention of sailing ships promoted trade and exploration. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the modern means of transport. There are various means of modern transport. They include road, water, rail, and air transport. In this lesson, we shall pay particular attention to road and rail transport. The invention of the wheel enhanced the development of the roads. The Romans built straight roads with hard surface all over Europe and North Africa by 300 BC. When the Roman Empire fell, the roads were neglected until the 18th century, when engineers in Europe developed better roads. The development of roads led to improvement of the modes of transport. This included the development of bicycles, motorcycle, and motor vehicle. Road transport has affected the lives of people in various ways. These include, it has led to promotion of trade and growth of towns. It has also led to creation of employment opportunities and promotion of industrialization. Unfortunately, road transport has led to pollution of the environment. The earliest railway was made of wood in the 16th century. Wooden rails were used in Britain and Germany. Iron rails were first used in the early 19th century. Early railway carriages were drawn by horses and donkeys. Many engineers were involved in the development of locomotive engine. For example, in 1829, Stephenson and his son Robert built an engine called Rocket, which had a speed of 48 kilometers per hour. Over the years, there has been an improvement on efficiency and speed of trains. Modern means of transport have led to both positive and negative effects on the human society. Some of them are promotion of local and international trade, growth of urban centers, creation of employment opportunities, diffusion of ideas due to easy movement of people, increase in rural to urban migration, loss of human lives due to accidents, growth of international terrorism, and environmental pollution. Communication is the exchange of ideas, messages, information, and instructions between two or more parties. In this lesson, we are going to discuss the various forms of traditional means of communication. One of the traditional forms of communication was smoke signal. Smoke signal was used to warn people of impending danger, for example, external attacks. This was done by lighting fire on top of a hill. Another form of traditional communication was drum beats, which were used to communicate different messages to the communities. These messages included the following: calling for a meeting at the ruler's palace, announcement of death, summoning warriors, wedding ceremony, and arrival of strangers. These were trusted runners who were sent with either verbal or written messages from one party to another. In most cases, it was from the king to his subjects. An example of a runner was Phidippides, who ran from Marathon to Athens to deliver a message from his king to that of Athens. He covered a distance of 42 kilometers. The marathon race is named in his honor. Horn blowing was yet another form of communication. The horns used were from special animals such as the antelopes. In most African communities, horn blowing was used to mark the beginning of circumcision ceremonies. They were also used to call for meeting of council of elders, summon warriors during external attacks, and also announce death of a king. Written messages were also used in the olden days. They were in form of pictures and inscription. The materials used included parchment. These were made from dried animal skin. Scrolls. These were sheets of paper which were rolled up around a wooden bar or ivory. They were made from materials such as dried papyrus reeds. Scrolls were used by Romans, Asians, Jews, Hebrews, and the Chinese. Stone tablets. These were made from wet clay, which after drying left a permanent impression. These forms of communication had some limitations, which include messages sent by screaming could not be sent over a wide area. Messages could easily be misunderstood. Written messages were limited to literate people. Smoke messages did not work well during the wet and windy season. Messengers or runners were slow and consumed a lot of time. Messengers could deliver wrong messages. They could be attacked by wild animals as they ran to deliver messages. Horn blowing required expertise to blow, and drum beats could be disrupted by strong winds. In this lesson, we are going to study modern means of communication. Modern means of communication is also called telecommunication because it involves sending or receiving of messages over long distances. Some of these include telephone and cell phone, television, radio, telegraph, facsimile or fax, telex, and pager. A telephone is an instrument that relays sound waves over a long distance using electric wires. It consists of a microphone and a receiver mounted on a handset. A mobile phone is a similar device that has been invented recently that does not require electric wires in transmitting the sound waves. Telex and fax are modern means of communication that transmit coded electrical signals. Internet is a computer-based global information network that links thousands of computers throughout the world using telephone lines. On the other hand, electronic mail is a system of transmitting data or text files from one computer to another over an intranet or the internet through a modem. Modern means of communication have various effects which include enhancing cultural exchange and spread of ideas. It has reduced the world into a global village. Another effect is that it has made it possible for information to be stored permanently. In this lesson, we are going to discuss the modern means of communication. One of them is print media. Print media refers to all that is written and published which provides information. These include newspapers, magazines, journals, books, and newsletters. Daily newspapers print at least one edition every weekday. Examples of daily newspapers are Daily Nation, The Standard, The People Daily, Taifa Leo, The Monitor, among others in Kenya. In other countries, daily newspapers include the Los Angeles Times in USA and the Toronto Star in Canada. Magazines are normally published on weekly, fortnightly, or monthly basis. They provide specialized information on particular issues. Unlike daily newspapers, magazines are normally bound. Examples of magazines are the Kenya Gazette, Reader's Digest, Parents, True Love, Drum, Eve, and The Finance. It is important to note that with the current technology, it is possible to read magazines online. Print media has played a major role in people's lives. It has positive effects such as it is informative on various issues. It is also a source of entertainment and storage of information. Print media also promotes trade. Print media has various limitations in that it is limited to those who are literate and is also expensive. Some print media has pornographic material which may bring out moral decay. It can also be addictive, such as newspapers and magazines. Print media could also give biased information.